दूंगी तो मैं आपसे बोलूंगी कि आप अपना कैमरा और माइक ऑन करो, देन आप ऑन करना।
Sure.
ठीक है। Knowledge grows when shared. And today, we are here to unlock new perspective, new conversations, and endless possibilities. A very warm and cheerful good afternoon to everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the episode 16 of Corporate Gupshup. I am Kushi, your host for today's session, and I'm thrilled you to join us for another inspiring conversation. This event is proudly brought to you by Corporate Club in collaboration with Training and Placement Department LNCT. It's truly an honor to welcome our esteemed alumni, Mr. Harsh Sahu sir, from the batch of 2022, currently working as a developer success engineer at Salesforce. He has carved a remarkable path for himself in the tech industry. Sir, we are absolutely delighted to have you with us today. We kindly request you to turn on your camera and unmute yourself to share a brief introduction before we begin with the session.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you, Koshi, for the introduction. My name is Harsh, and I'm like passed out from LNCT in the batch of 2022. I basically come from Jhansi, Uttar Pradesh, and I joined LNCT in 2018 in electrical engineering from LNCT. Um, so like yeah, like I don't have much to say regarding my prior experience to college, but yeah, my college journey was like completely roller
Thank you,
coaster.
sir, for introducing yourself. So, before we proceed with the questions, I would like to congratulate you for being at Salesforce, a reputed global cloud firm. We would love to hear your experience at Salesforce selection process. Please tell us about the rounds and procedures.
Yeah, so initially like I got an opportunity for Salesforce when I was in my I think in third year. Yeah, I was like on my sixth semester that time. So I got an opportunity for the Salesforce. They conducted a pool drive, and like Allen City was also invited in that. So at that time, like I applied for it. There were multiple rounds in Salesforce. Around I believe it was 4 to 5 rounds were there. So the first round was for the aptitude and basically basic reasoning aptitude and like small code snippets kind of question were there. So that was kind of a elimination round, right? So if you clear that round, you will move to the next round. So I just cleared those round. The questions were very basic, I would say, not that tough. Because parallelly I was preparing for my gate exam, right? So the aptitude helped me a lot. What I studied for the gate. Then my next round was the technical round. So there were I think three questions. Yeah, so there were three questions, and so two were easy, and one was little tough. So yeah, so like the question were I would say not that difficult. Uh, like all three were coding questions, and those were not that difficult. Like I would say the first two were quite easy. The third one was bit tricky. Uh, yeah, but however, like yeah, we have to like clear at least two out of three to move to the next round. So that was the second round. Coming to the third round was the technical interview. So basically, that was the I would say that was one of the most interesting round because in that like the technical team of Salesforce engineers joined the call, and they ask you question regarding like basic like programming patterns, or like not that difficult, like basic patterns, like the singleton factory patterns and all these things. So they don't want the exact answer from us, but they want to just know the approach, right? There they ask some questions as well, like at the real time they can open the uh, compiler, or like from any compiler, right? They just ask you in which programming language you are comfortable. They just give you basic scenario, and they just ask us to write some basic logic of it. They, as I mentioned, that they don't want the exact answer at that time. They just only want your approach, what is your approach is, and how effort you can put, right? So because, right, like in the call itself, it's not that easy like to get the answer in the first go, but yeah. So that was a thing. So, and in the technical interview, another thing which I would say is the project part. Yeah, so project part is, I would say, it's very important for the interview, because my technical part of the interview was covered in the first 15 to 20 minutes. Like they just wrapped up those things, because they know like those normal questions they will ask, right? Um, but most of my interview went to the project part. So like the tech lead who joined the call, so they asked what projects you made during the college. And yeah, so I actually was lucky enough that time that I had the project in my system. So they just asked, out of curiosity, they asked that, okay, do you have that project in your system? I said, yeah, I had. So they just told me, okay, if you can open, right? So I would say that the project part was the biggest, I would say, it's like it's a, like, it's a center of the complete interview. So the entire discussion went on the project. They ask us to open, like, first to run the project. So at that time, my project was not able to run completely. The reason is it was Sunday, and I made a project on the stock market. It was kind of a basically tracking system for the stock prices. So that the market was closed. So I just told them that right now I cannot show you the exact working, because right now it's Sunday, the markets are closed. So they said, okay, it's fine. You can just open the source code and we can just discuss that. So I just opened my source code, and that part was a bit interesting. So they were going through like the basic approach, how you wrote the code, right? And so like they ask in some parts of the code, they ask, okay, why didn't you go with this approach, why use this approach, right? So they was quite tricky code, not that tricky, but they was just trying to like know that how, what was your approach for like that particular coding. So yeah, that was my technical round. And and after the project part, the things got over. Then there was my fourth round, which was managerial and HR round. So in that they will ask you, mostly the questions will be on communications, and like what your managerial skills, your basic problem solving, not in technical terms, but in real life scenarios, because they will ask you most of the real life scenario, that okay, if certain thing happens, how you're going to manage those things, right? So most of the questions were related to this scenario based and communication part. And there was a final round for a language proficiency test, which was, I think, on the Person View platform, if I'm not wrong. So at that particular platform, they will test your communication skills as well. So it's an, I think, a kind of a software where you have to like speak in front of it, and it will just give you some couple of lines, and you have to like elaborate it. And I think there were some passages you have to write. Yeah, however, like I think these were the 5 rounds uh, that were taken, and the process was quite long. It took around a month. So yeah. And after that I got offer from the Salesforce that, okay, you have been joined. And I was happy.
It's very nice. Sir, as you mentioned that it had you have to clear 5 rounds. So how was your preparation journey? Like how you started and what was like how you prepared for the aptitude round, for the projects, what technologies you used, what were your college projects? As you mentioned, one of was a stock market
Right.
project. So how and more any projects you did. So
Right.
tell us about it.
Um, so as I mentioned, like like I was from the electrical engineering background. So at that time we had to make most of the core projects, right? So at that time, like in the in the core projects or my major projects, I was making from the core field, like it was an electric cycle. So that time I made, and it was my major project, and which I submitted in the Smart India Hackathon. So eventually I didn't got selected, but yeah, that submitted also in the Smart India Hackathon. And after that, for the minor projects, I just selected the computer science project at that time. We were asked to make the core, but my professors were very supportive, and they said, "Okay, it's fine. You can just it's a minor project. You can just make it from the computer science field. It's fine. We can go with it." So at that time, I like started with Python. Not initially Python, but projects I made in the Python. Initially, I started with Java because I want to make my foundation strong in the programming language. And like my seniors told me that I think Java will be the best for you because it has also the OOPS concept, so that you don't have to switch between C++ and C or C++, right? So that time I initially started with the Java, and that built my foundation on the programming. Then when I explored more, right, and want to learn like more on the project side, so I just eventually started learning Python. Like if you know Java, so Python is just easy. It's a cakewalk for you. So I started with the Python, and I like started making small projects for my like just for learning purpose. Because if you learn, like if you go with programming learning, if programming is not a learning thing, right, it's just a practice that comes over a time. So I started making small projects for myself. I was just curious to know, okay, if I do this, or if some random thoughts come in my mind, okay, let's implement this. So at that time, I started using Python more than Java, and I used to make small projects. For the minor project, I made like stock tracking system. Basically, it's a kind of a stock tracker where you can just put the list of the selected stocks that you are interested in. Let's say you predicted a price. Let's say you have perform analysis a day before the stock market open, or a few hours before the stock market opens. You just created a list over there, and you just mentions all your stocks, and you just create an upper and lower price for it. Now you can see it's more common in the apps, but earlier that time that was not present. So uh, I like just put that thing over there where you can just create an upper and lower limits as per your need. You can create multiple levels of limits over there, and yeah, that can help. Like, in the real time it works, right? So as a stock price goes ups and down, it can just trigger you the notification. So even if you are not on your system at that time, it can trigger you the notification so that you can just take an immediate action on it. You don't have to be in front of the system every time. So that was a quite small, I would say, small scripted uh, project, because it doesn't have multiple. Um, so like it's not. It was kind of a monolithic application. um, yeah, so the technology I used was Python for the backend logic, and for the UI I used Tkinter. You might be aware of it. It's an UI framework for the Python. So I used that, and there was like basic DBM storage. So for that I used MySQL. That wasn't much part of it. Like just used to store the values. So yeah, so these three technologies I use for that particular project.
Very nice, sir. Sir, as you said that you were from core branch, so how did you land your job at Salesforce, which is an IT company?
Right. Yeah, so initially when I like so before coming to LNCT, I was not that good in. I was just a normal below average kind of person. I just passed my 10th standard with 70% and 12th class with 66%. So I was not that good in my career academics, but I was more interested towards like maths and physics. Those are my favorite subjects. So at that time, like in LNCT, it's very hard to get computer science. So at that time, it was very hard. So I eventually like heard that people a lot that okay, you can get a computer science, you can get your dream job, you get a like have your packages and also thing. But yeah, like that time my luck was not in my favor. So but yeah, like as I mentioned that I was more interested in physics and maths, right? So I decided to pursue electrical engineering because it is full of physics and math, and that I learned the most. So that time also when I joined the college, I was not that serious related to my studies, but there was a life event that happened. There was some of my professors. Um, I would literally I would say that they were my pivotal point at that time. Uh, they taught me how to learn, how to understand things, and that was one of my biggest breakthrough of my learning journey. The- So yeah, from there onwards, like I started being serious in my studies, and in second year, there was a mandate made from the UGC uh, that controls all the universities across the India. So they mentioned that there was an like enforcement happened from their side that all the engineering students, but no matter they are from the core or non-core, they have to at least know one programming language. So that time they have introduced like programming in the second year of our like when I was in the second year, I think in 2019. So at that time UGC made it mandate and we have to start knowing about the programming language. So that was the first time actually I know more about that. Okay, there was something like we can do in the programming field, but that time also I was more inclined toward the core field. So that was our first time when we went to, I think there was an Ellen City IT building. I'm not sure yet. I think there was an IT building, so they had a computer lab, and was very curious and got amazed that okay, they have an ACs, they have the big computers, and I was very much fascinated toward it. So yeah, like I think there was one professor Ratnesh Tope, if I'm not wrong. So I was very new to programming. I even don't know how to code. Even I don't know what actually code does. I just saw some couple of lines they wrote on the board and I just copied it, and that too even I won't able to run. So yeah, I think so there was a professor at Nest and they helped me a lot during that time. And eventually, slowly, I was more fascinated over that thing once I ran my first code, and I kept on like going on like it's keep on trying, and at when I like left the college and when I went to home, so I started like getting some online from the website. I used to get some online examples like online course, basic palindrome or all those things. So at that time my coding journey started in the second year. I eventually got more inclined toward the uh, coding part, and later I just came to know like that professor itself only told me that you we have also like fundamentals of like how not only programming is the computer science, but there are other things apart from the programming that you need to learn. So like YouTube, so that is our biggest learning platform at that time also. So yeah, so most of the things I started learning from the YouTube, and eventually I started to explore more on the like okay, there are a lot of things. There are data structures, there are DBMS, there are a lot more things. You can get more frameworks. You know about the architecture, you know about the integration patterns, you know about the protocols. So there are a lot of things that were involved, and I was like kept on learning those things. So that was my part in the second year, and through which I got more inclined toward the computer science journey in the coding part. Coming to the aptitude part, as I mentioned that like being from the core, we have to at least secure a job, right? So job was one of the thing. So at that time, I was not even sure that I'm going to eventually I'm going to learn to the IT companies. At that time, coding was something which was my hobby, I would say, or it was some my free time activity. It was not something that I like. I have that time I haven't taken that. Okay, I would making my career through there, but yeah, that time we have to secure the jobs. So that time, like I was in my second year, fourth semester, if I'm not wrong. That time I started with my gate preparation in the core field electrical engineering, and that I kept on continue till the next year itself. So because that helped me through my academics in my core branches, and that also helped me through like clearing my gate cutoff. Because I was initially like we were like thinking that okay, it's a side the coding was a side activity for me at least, and I know that okay, I have to prepare for the gate and I need to clear it somehow. However, I like by any means I need to get a job in the core field. So that was my main thing over there. But like after that, like I just prepared in gate and I just prepared it for I think 1.5 years. Later, like like the COVID hits and that was an biggest event that happened uh, in my entire tenure. Like so that time I realized that okay, it's big hard to secure government job that time because there was a lot of competition. Most of the openings were freeze in the government sector, and there were very less, I would say, very less hirings were happening. So I decided okay, let's give it a chance to the IT and make it as an primary and make let's give it a try in the core field, in the IT field, right? So in my third year, I think in the third year starting, I started preparing. I just started taking it more seriously, and yeah, eventually I got multiple offers, but yeah, the Salesforce was the one that I selected.
So that's truly an inspiring story of yours. So how do you like stay motivated so much? If I have to ask you.
Um, Actually, there was one thing that one of my professors said, and as I mentioned that earlier, was I was not serious. I was kind of a, a gully boy kind of a thing that was not serious at all. I just go to college. I was just roaming here and there, not attending the classes, being punished by the professors. That you don't like take seriously. You just sleep at the back. Like I just go to the back bench, and I used to. I was a backbencher kind of a person that, okay, I just go and I just sleep over there. I was not taking the thing seriously. There was one professor I remember. She was Anjali Tiwari, if I'm not wrong. She was my chemistry professor. So one day she noticed me. She didn't say I was doing the same stuff. If I would be doing at that time, I sometimes I feel that okay, what embarrassed situation I was in there. But that time, like she didn't say anything to me, and I was hoping that she was say something to me. Like that time I was kind of that boy that okay used to get a kick if I got punished from the professor. So at that time I noticed that she didn't say anything to me. She just quietly came and came back to her podium like where they used to teach, and she didn't say anything. I was in confusion that why didn't she say anything, right? After the session got over, she called me in the lab, okay, and she just quietly explained me, you know like like your parents have put in so much effort for you. You're being studied in such a good college, and why don't you take study so seriously? And like she explained me like that, like if you do these things now, that won't help you much in the long in your career. Just once think about your parents, what they have been doing hard work for you, and you're just spoiling all those things. That thing, I think, those were some of the things that touched me a lot, and yeah, started like eventually started being serious about my studies. So yeah.
So that's truly inspiring. So as a student like who are currently in their final or pre-final year students, so what key skills or areas of focus would you recommend them to develop if they want to pursue the similar role like yours? So what are the areas they should focus?
So I would say that right now, like this in AI era, so all the companies are running towards the AI, right? But if you directly jump to the AI, that won't make any sense. Like it's like completely waste of time if we directly jump to the AI. But I would recommend that you need to build a strong foundation on the basics. At least the basics are required, right? You don't need to be much technically sound. You can even if you practice daily, right? I think consistency is one of the thing that needs to be there. Even if you, let's say, most of the time I used to practice daily and I'm not able to solve a question for 2 days also, but I never like um, give up over there. I just keep on trying even 2 days, 3 days. But yeah, eventually we get an answer. If there's a problem, there's an answer obviously for that. But if you go by the short tricks, or if you, let's say, make a, let's say you just drop that question, you just copied it from somewhere, right? That will ruin your journey, I would say. So I don't think shortcuts are should be there. Yeah, you this one, I think right now it's a great time. There's an AI over there. It's free, available for everyone. So I think you can incorporate that more in your studies. right? Like sometimes we don't know much about the concept, we just know the theory, okay, but we eventually don't know what that actually does. I think AI is something which everyone use, even I use daily. It's part of my daily routine. I use it a lot to learn more things. Even if I don't get anything, I just get into the depth of it. I just kept on asking AI that, okay, no, I'm not getting, just keep me explaining. So at the end I just came to know. So I would say that you can incorporate AI in your learnings. Foundations are must in programming, at least if you're targeting for an IT sector job. Foundations are something, and like one of the harsh thing is that none of the companies will like, even if you are good at right basic the foundation and all those things, companies don't require those things. They just want to know your approach, uh, right? Even if you solve the lead code, easy, medium, hard questions also, I don't think companies do much rely on those learnings. They just know that, okay, those things, right? But they just wanted to know the approach, and approach is one of the thing I think that matters how you solve the problem. So yeah, you can just learn some basics of DBMS, uh, right? Just basic operations, uh, just to create tables, join tables, and all those things. Oops, like should be there. Obviously, I think oops we cannot neglect at that this time. Um, I think UI frameworks are optional. It's not mandatory. But yeah, UIs are something which is just, it's up to you if you want to go in frameworks and UIs. It's up to you. If you want to go it, just and add an extra point to your resume. Projects, I think one of the most important thing. I don't think, I won't suggest anyone to not to miss or just to copy. Like right now, at that time when I was in college, there was a lot of project, library management system, DBMS management system. So all people were making the same thing, that management system, bus management system. So management system is okay, but it's good if you implement it by yourself. If you are knowing more, if you are following it to the current trend, right? If you know it deeply, then I think it's fine. If you can answer that project in your interview, that's fine. But if you copy, like now, like that time also, there was a like lots of website they used to give a ready-made projects. People may go to the market, they used to get in projects, they used to get in files. I saw in front of my friends, or friends also did the same thing. But if you're investing your time in the learning, I won't suggest you doing that. First, you don't know how to make UI, it's completely fine. But I think the project is something which you can make, and right now you have an AI in place. So I think it will be an easy thing for. But yeah, the project is very important, I would say.
So, in addition to technical proficiency, how critical are soft skills such as communication, teamwork, and adaptability when it comes to securing succeeding in a technical role?
Yeah, actually, that is one of the thing that we most ignored during our preparations, but eventually it is one of the most important thing. If you walk in the corporate ladder, right, you will notice that communication is something which is at the top priorities in corporates. Even if you are not that good in a technical part, it's fine. If you are an average or just okay, it's just fine. But communication is something which should be there. Like that, like you have to talk with various clients. Right now I'm in the developer success position, so I'm handling the AMER region, Latin America. And so that time I had to deal with customers, and like we have to like uh, deal them in such a way that they don't get I would say, no, they don't want to upset that time, right? They don't want to sound like that, okay, if some other person is trying to convey something and they're not able to understand. So there's a lot of small things that happens. And communication is, I would say, some of the that we neglect during our preparation. But I think that should be there in place. Eventually, I also feel that, okay, I didn't focus much on the communication part, but yeah, I just kept on trying till now. Also, I'm just kept on trying to improve my communication. But yeah, I think it's something which comes with a practice, and if you incorporate, that can help you.
So much. So, how should a student with no internship experience approach placement and still create a strong profile?
I think if you don't get an internship, it's completely fine. It's not mandated that everyone will be having an internship. It's up to you. If you can try to get some internship, it's okay. Otherwise, I think there's another path you can go with. It's the projects. So projects is something. It's not like that you made the projects and you keep it up to your only, and you think that okay, I can get an opportunity. It's not like that. There's a lot of platforms, so mostly the LinkedIn is being used by most of the corporates. Let's say even if you create a small project, you are in your final year, or if you are in your third year also, you can create small projects with your learnings. You can just collect your learnings of the last 3 4 months. You can start making projects. You can put them in your Git repository, and you can just make a small even if you don't have any personal websites where you can publish, it's fine. You can just put it in the Git repository. You can make it public, and you can just record a small video and make it to the LinkedIn. So what happens is, most of the corporates, they all are on the LinkedIn. As far as I know that, uh, in a week 4 to 5 times at least a person from the corporate watch the LinkedIn, right? No matter from what company you are working, or you're a student or what, right? That comes to an attention over there, right? If you make this interesting project, if you just write what's you're learning in that, I think that is one of the thing that can help you, that can get recognized. If someone is hiring, let's say if I put some projects, I don't have an internship, but I kept on posting some projects in 3 to 4 month duration with my learning, I eventually get noticed by someone who's he's going to hire for an like freshers position. So I think that can help. That helps a lot. And building connection is also on the LinkedIn, so one of the most thing important thing, because that can help you to, I like, like in the it's a big myth that fresher gets a referral. To be honest, there's no such thing. Even if someone says you refer for the fresher, that doesn't make any sense, right? Referral is something which is meant to be in place for the person in the corporate journey, right? You are, let's say, if in case you are a fresher and you think that okay, I can just get a referral, that is something, it's a big myth. Referral is something for the person who has been in a corporate for at least 1 to 2 years and you have been working with. So those were in that place. But eventually, it's not like that. Without referral, that doesn't happen. If you are being if you are being strong in your work and knowledge, and if you're being active much on the LinkedIn, you can easily get recognized by the recruiters. There are a lot of recruiters there on the LinkedIn, and they can easily reach out to you. You can reach out to them also. I think most of the people or most of the student does hesitate reaching out to the recruiter. They feel like, okay, why I'm reaching out, or if what if they don't respond. It's not any harm. It doesn't cost you anything if you reach out to them. What will happen eventually? If they will reply or not reply, that's it. So I think reaching out is one of the thing that should be there.
So, sir, I want to ask, in your opinion, what's the biggest gap between what the college teaches and what the industry demands from freshers? Matlab, how can a student bridge that gap?
um to be honest, this this is a huge gap, I would say. But like that, if you don't have the foundations or the basic learning, even that gap also we can't fill, right? So industries are something like they keep on changing. The technology is changing every day, right? So it's very hard to cope up in the industry, because every day something new is coming from some other side. So college is fine with the learning. It can help you to build the basics. It can help you learn the concepts in detail. But like in industry, the things are bit different. They expect that everything you being coming, right? So most industries does work on other aspects of the software. Let's say you're just good at coding, so they don't want you to write the complete code on their servers or the systems, right? They just want you the approach, or they want you to make it more optimized, more efficient. That is the thing they requires you the more. So what students can do is, uh, if they are, let's say, targeting for an company, right? Just take an example of the Salesforce itself, right? So Salesforce has its own programming paradigms, kind of Epix, LWC, and so others. So it's, let's say, someone is targeting for the company. First thing is that you should know much about the company before applying. You should know that what that company does, what that company business is, and what technologies that company use, right? If you're targeting for something, let's say if you are targeting for Salesforce, and you want to go in the like development field of the Salesforce, right? You can start targeting, you can start learning. It's not always mandatory that you have a certificate that will guarantee you that you will be there. No, it's up to your skills. So you can start learning those technologies being used by the companies. It's very hard, right? Every company has its own technologies. Like Salesforce has Apex, ServiceNow has some other, SAP has some other, right? So it's very hard, but it's completely up to you. You have to make a strategy for it, which company you are aiming, and that's why like this Java, C, and Python are there in place so that it gives you the basic foundation, right? All the, like even if in Salesforce, if you go with the programming, its native programming language, it's just similar to the Java. If you know Java, you can within a week you can learn that language, and it's same with most of the companies itself. So what you can do is, if you're in college and if you want to learn more on the industry side, you can try to get in free orgs, free applications, which is available for everyone. You can just start putting your hands on those technologies. It's not guaranteed that in the first attempt you will be, but eventually if you give time daily, you will be learning a lot of things.
So, sir, as you mentioned the certificates, so in today's scenario, how impactful are formal certificates, participation in hackathons, and completion of online courses is important for a student?
um See, to be honest, participant certification is okay. I won't comment much on that. Like it's just gives you the moral, right? It help you to maintain the moral that okay, you being there. Hackathon certificates, I think that is something which is which matters, right? Uh, like an hackathon is something. It's not like that you attended a session, you got a certificate. It's something which is achieved by your hard work. You have to continuously give your time, you have to work on it, and that time you get. So that is recognized something that okay, you put your time over there. So hackathon certificates, I would say, and I would suggest everyone to participate in hackathons. Like I'm a big fan of hackathons. In college, used to participate in, even in corporate itself. When I joined, I used to participate in internal hackathons also. So hackathon is one of my favorite thing which I participate. Um, Regarding to the online courses certification, if you're doing it from a genuine platform, I think that matters. But if you're just going from some random kind of a certificate, let's say, like nowadays YouTube, you let's master in chat GPTs for 9 rupees, 10 rupees course. So I don't think those will help you uh, in any point. But yeah, if you are just preparing from a genuine platform like Udemy or uh, like some genuine platform, right, from the Oracle or something, or from Cisco, right? So I think they are very high value certificates. But yeah, apart from that, I won't suggest you like anyone to participate or just to waste their time on those online uh, classes which happen for 9, 10 rupees, 15 rupees. That is completely waste of time.
Thank you, sir, for like explaining this because it's one of the most confusing part.
Right.
So, can you describe what an ideal workday looks like for a technical success engineer at Salesforce, including the key responsibilities and interactions?
Right. So like as an technical success engineer, our job is to like help the Salesforce developers across the EMEA region in building this implementation, or just to block that, or just to what to say, remove that obstacle which is coming in the way of the implementation, right? So like just to give a small brief about the platform itself. Salesforce is a business CRM platform, and on that particular platform, it is most of the companies use, I think most of the Fortune top companies use that platform, Even like if you look at Google, Facebook, and all those big tech giants use that platform for the CRM purpose. um Basically CRM, if people doesn't know, I just give you, it's just customer relationship management platform. So by default it just comes with an predefined sets of feature. However, it's a platform where you can build more upon it. You can build your own components, you can build your own codes, you can make your own functionality, you can integrate with multiple systems, right? You can just create your own event driven architecture patterns, everything you can. I think most of everything you can do it, if I am not wrong. As far as I have explored, I kept on exploring. Right now I'm going to complete my 3 years in this month. But it's such a huge platform that even I haven't covered the 20-30% of that platform. It's such a big platform. So what our job role is that, like, like in the Salesforce platform, there are multiple Salesforce developers across the globe. They use Salesforce technologies like Apex programming language, Lightning Web Components, and other things, right? So even if, let's say, they are integrating with systems, multiple systems. So let's say they are implementing something, and eventually something is not working, or let's say in a release they got a new component, right? Or they got a new class or new method inside the programming part, right? And that doesn't works correctly, or that is not giving the response correctly, right? Or let's say if they are implementing something and they are not able to find out the way, how can I do? Okay, you just have given me this class or this method, but I'm not sure if I can implement this in such a way, or this is my business requirement. However, we don't fully support the business requirement, but in some scenarios we have to suggest the customers the way, the approach they can go with. So that is the some of the things that comes to us. Developer reaches out to us, Salesforce developers, Salesforce admins, they reach out to us. This says that, okay, I'm having a blockage in my implementation journey. This is something which is happening, and could you please help me here? Or I'm trying to integrate it with some different system. Let's say I'm trying to integrate with Microsoft or Cisco or anything, right? So at that time, that might be they are facing some issues, and we help them to, okay, just block, like, just to remove that obstacle on their way. We, or let's say sometimes there's an issue with a component itself, we used to fix those things as well. So that are the some of the things. And like in some scenarios we have to recommend that, okay, this is I think this is the wrong approach you are taking, let's try with this way. So we have to suggest them, and yeah, so we just do these are some of the responsibilities which we own. And like the daily sorry yeah, so the daily part would be uh, like the developers reaches out to us, admins reaches out to us, they comes up with a problem statement, and we have to solve those things on our end. Yeah, and we have to, like, most of the time we have to join on a call with them. So that time the communication is which is the thing which comes in the picture. And daily, at least I think once or twice I have to go on a call with them. So we have to schedule meetings with them. Their teams comes. Sometimes if there's a business critical issue, right, that is preventing the workflow, or let's say they have a leadership presentation. So there are a lot of things, but yeah, we need to be there in the most of the time where they need us more.
Okay, all right. So, what core technical skills should student develop during college to stand out in placement interviews, especially for roles in companies like Salesforce?
In programming, you mean to say?
Technical skills,
Okay,
yes.
technical skills. I think, as I mentioned, programming, basic programming foundation is must. I think lead code is something. I think that time, right now, also, if I'm not wrong, it's popular. During my time, it was very popular. Lead code. So we, like, people used to create streaks on lead code, that green check boxes. So
Yes,
that
it happens right now also.
okay. So that time, like, that craze started, and people used to create streaks on the lead code. So I think lead code is something which is very helpful in your day-to-day practice, right? You can start with easy questions. and you can start with once you are confident, you can go with a medium level question. Sometimes, like medium questions also are easy ones only. They just tag it as a medium. So that gives you the confidence, and I think easy medium is fine. It's not that you can, even if you go completely with easy, it's fine. You can just crack any technical round, it's fine. But yeah, easy and medium is something which I would recommend. Hard questions, it's up to you. If you want to go in much depth, it's completely up to you. But I was not that fan of that. I was okay with easy and medium questions. So programming is one of the thing. DBMS, as I mentioned, you should, everyone who is entering in the tech field should know DBMS, because it's one of the key important thing. And in every interviews also, in technical rounds, they will ask you, and most of the questions comes from the joins operation. So yeah, uh, DBM is very very important. Communication, as I mentioned, is one of the thing which people lacks, but I would say that please incorporate in your daily routine. At least, if no matter if you're wrong or right, but just try to incorporate, because that's one of the thing that can help you. Um, in technical, I don't think. Yeah, project part is very important, as I earlier mentioned. And there are a lot of optional things, then it's completely up to you. If you go more into the fundamentals of the computer science, uh, because I don't think right now we don't have a market of that much in the favor of processors and all. But yeah, like if you can go with the more fundamentals of the programming, like operating systems, if you're targeting for an core engineering role, uh, right? So I think that time these operating systems and other subject comes in place, but it's completely up to you, right? So whatever, like, just I'm just giving you this only for the basic entrance, right? And if you want to develop an expertise completely around that, you can just, it's free up to you. You can go more in the operating systems, you can go into the complex data structures. Yeah, one of the most important thing is that data structures are a bit important. uh, like if you're not algorithms, it's okay. I don't think much companies ask for me, they haven't asked. But data structure is something which they ask me a lot. So yeah, and even in day-to-day work also, like data structure concept does come in our most of the scenario, right? Because sometimes you have to optimize the code, or we have to give more correct solutions, right? So at that time, the data structure is one of the most important thing, I would say, that uh, you should be much focusing on. So yeah, please like focus on the data structures. Algorithm is up to you. If you are okay with it, if you fun, if you enjoy it, then it's
So, one second, just.
yeah, yeah, sure, take your time.
Alright, sir, we are live again. Let's start with the live questions again. So your mic.
Yeah, okay, sorry. It's on mute.
Let's start with the live questions again. Okay, how do you prepare yourself mentally before participating in any interview?
Yes, actually, I think I don't do anything for the last 30 minutes before the interview. I just lay down to the bed and just peacefully. I don't think much about it. Just lay down on the bed and just get to try to relax myself. And yeah, so I think that relieves a lot of mental pressure at that time, and that helps a lot in interview.
So another question is like, how do you handle failure or rejection without letting it define you?
I think I've take failure as my learning. It's kind of a motivation for me, right? If I'm failing at something, I just give it a try, another try to make it succeed in the next attempt. If not, I just kept on attempting. So it's a recursive attempt, but I think I take it as a learning, because even if something is getting not in your favor, that is teaching you something. I think it's a learning for me.
So another question is, how do you balance academic responsibilities with self-learning and internship?
Yeah, actually, that time we have to be clear. We have to make a balance. At least if we are not clear, because it's not always that we are clear in everything. But if we are not clear, we have to make a balance, right? So during my college, I was not even clear, but that time I was more on the gate preparation, and eventually I just make a pivot to the IT side. So at that time, I make a strategy for me to create a balance between the both, and I think that helped me a lot. I know that okay, this is the time, this much time I have to spend on my core learnings. And like we are students, and uh, it's okay if we are like it's not much on our end like that. Okay, we know we should know everything, but if we have to just create a perfect balance between both the things, right? Both the things are equally important. If we completely neglect the academics, I don't think that will be good for anything, right? Because eventually there would be a lot of hurdles for you in the end. So I think should be a strategy and balance between the both.
So any upcoming projects or goals you're excited about?
Yeah, actually, right now I'm learning more on the UI side. So right now, like I'm the part of the Salesforce Labs. Like this a team that builds projects for the community. We basically kind of like in the Android we have in Play Store, right? Where we go, or in the iOS we have an App Store. We go to there and we just download the apps, whatever we like, right? Same on the Salesforce platform, we have an app exchange. It's similar to like the App Store. So there we create an applications for the enterprises, right? So right now I'm in the Salesforce labs where I am preparing some application. I'm working with my team. So most of them are for the community, the global Salesforce communities, developer communities, so that they don't have to write those boilerplate logics. They don't basic functionalities, right? So that we can open source it. So yeah, I think right now these are some of my projects which I'm working on, and hopefully we will be publishing in the next month after the testing and all. So
So our last question is, who is your biggest motivator?
I think my for me, I won't want to praise, but I think my parents are my biggest motivator for me, and my professors are equally, because I treat them as both. I don't know, like sometimes I say to my friends, like I equally treat my parents like my professors. My professors are like my parents. They used to like, they say, what? We never like our professors, but I said no, like, but they are like my parents. They help me to pivot my career. So I think they are equally very important in my life.
It's truly a lovely thing. So, like, we have gained so much insights from your journey. It's time to shift gears a little and have some fun. We're moving into a rapid fire round. Quick questions, quicker answer, and a whole lot of fun. So, get
Sure.
ready. No thinking, just go with your instinct.
Sure.
So, question first is coding or communication? What helped you more in your current role?
Communication.
Second is most underrated skill in tech career.
Communication.
Question third is LinkedIn or resume. What one
Resume.
actually got you noticed.
Resume.
Question fourth is night owl or early bird.
Night owl, obviously.
Most discussed topic. I mean, tea or coffee during your long hours of work.
Tea always.
One college habit you still haven't dropped.
Hmm. Learning.
If your job title were a movie title, what would it be?
Hmm. Now that's something. I don't watch much movies, but Bazigar,
Oh, nice. Which app you open first every morning after waking up?
culprit.
Monday morning meetings or internet lag during a call?
Internet lag. Nobody likes Monday.
One thing you would tell your final year self today.
Sorry, I couldn't get you.
One thing you
Uh,
would tell your final year self today.
uh, I would say like, keep the learning. That's it. Enjoy the moment.
Now we're done with our
Everything.
rapid fire round. So, like, we're heading towards the end of the session, and before we close, we would love to hear one lessons you would like to leave for your juniors.
Yeah, actually, yesterday na, I was talking with one of my junior. So I think he's from like he was not from the LNCT. He was from the TIT college. So like we used to be in the same hostels, right? Like during my final year, I have to eventually go to the hostel because we don't have the rooms and all. We came for an exam. So at that time, we met some of the juniors, and they are still in touch with me. So yesterday they were telling me that like now there are very less hirings going on. Companies don't hire much. There's an hiring freeze across the companies, and I'm not getting good opportunities. I'm getting jobs with a less pay. So there were a lot of things which came across me. But I think the important thing is that you have to just keep the learning mindset. That is the first thing, and whatever you get, just take it. Don't think it's less or more, right? If I want to give me as an example, initially when I joined Salesforce, what I was paid that time 3 years back, now I'm getting, I think, three more than 3 times of what I'm getting now, right? Initially that time also it was fine for me, but if I would be saying that okay, it's less for me or it's not good, I think that would be my biggest fault. I would have put the like नहीं अपने पैरों पे खुद कुल्हाड़ी मारना वो वाला scene. So what you are getting, just take it, but keep the learning mindset, right? Never drop the learning. If you're learning, I am sure that you are going to exceed. Even if your current company doesn't gives you more, just keep on learning, try to switch. But I think learning is something which should be at the core, and whatever you get, just take it.
I think learning is one of the very important thing.
Correct.
Keep learning.
Right.
So, on behalf of the corporate club, we extend our sincere appreciation for your invaluable time, wisdom, and guidance you shared with us. Your presence truly elevated the session, making it an enriching and memorable experience for all. Your insights offered clarity, inspiration, and fresh perspective, leaving us with much to reflect upon and carry forward. We deeply value your generous contribution and thoughtful dialogues you inspired. We convey our best wishes for continued success in all your future endeavors, and we hope to have a privilege of welcoming you again in the future. A special note of thanks to Dr. Anuj Garg sir and Pushpang sir for facilitating such a meaningful and impactful session. Until we meet again, keep inspiring, keep leading, and know that your impact resonates far beyond the session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Kushi. It was a wonderful session.
Yeah, I'll just tell them to end the live feed.